It's time for the Nate Hawkins Show. Learn all about Heritage Hills basketball straight from the coach. The Nate Hawkins Show, exclusively on the Southwestern Indiana Sports Network.
Want to know what I like best about playing basketball for my high school? I like it because it's a place where my friends get to see me play. I like it because I'm playing for someone besides myself. I'm playing for everybody in my school and every person in my community.
Indiana high school sports. They're more than just a game.
Come and see me play.
Hello and welcome to this week's Nate Hawkins Show. And Coach, last week you took on Pike Central on Friday night at home, and then Saturday you head down to Linville to take on the Tecumseh Braves. Why don't you recap both of those games for us?
Well, first, Joe, I appreciate you getting on with me here again today. Last weekend was a tough, challenging weekend, like most of these weekends that we have coming up here. But we'll start with the Pike Central game. It was a great basketball game. That's about all I can really say. I mean, triple overtime. It just felt like whoever had the basketball at the end was the one that was going to win. We did have the basketball with 1.6 seconds and got a look at it, but that was a tough. We had to go the full length of the floor, and tough shot for Trent. But I mean, he got it there to the rim, and anytime he gets it up there by the rim, you think it's going in. But it was a great basketball game between two really good teams. I felt like neither team wanted to die or quit or anything, and every time you thought that we were in a really good spot, they'd come down and Morton, he banks in a three to take it to the third overtime. I mean, we had our opportunities. There's no question. We had our opportunities. Felt like we missed some big free throws. I mean, there was the opportunity to close the games out, and we didn't do that. And we've got to get better in that area. And I know that is one thing, especially with the young team that we've got and the maturation process that has to go, and that we have to learn how to close games out, especially against really good teams like what you saw against Pike Central, because they never quit. I mean, they're an experienced team. They're obviously older than we are, and talented. Their guards are really good. But we've got to play four quarters. We've got to learn how to close things out. But we're getting there. We're getting close. I'm really happy with our progress. It was a tough loss, no question about it. But I felt like our kids really responded well. Then on Saturday, as we went to the road against a really good Tecumseh team, older, got some really good seniors, have been playing really well. They come out and they jump on us 12-0. I don't know if maybe we're feeling a little sorry for ourselves or just had to get back into the groove of things. But then I thought that Trent did a really nice job of responding and kind of putting us on his back when he knew that we needed him, because we were really struggling there. And he scored all 12 of our points in the first quarter to cut it back to 16-12 at the end of the first quarter, which I thought was huge. And then we had a really great second and third quarter, and ended up building a lead up to about 20 points before they made a late run after the game had already been settled. But heck of a response out of our kids. I thought a lot of guys really stepped up, and that's what we need. And we need everybody to step up, everybody to play. But in that Tecumseh game, I thought Pierce Lashley really kind of gave us a lift. We were struggling, and he came in with some new energy and hit a shot, hit a couple throws, got a rebound, played great defense. I was really proud of him. as well, while some of our regular guys were struggling a little bit. And then I felt like in the second half, everybody really picked it up and was really playing well. And the 1-3-1 and our full court pressure really bothered Tecumseh a little bit all night to help us secure that win. But scoring is not an issue, Joe. We're putting the basketball in the hoop. We got to get a little bit better on the defensive end. I'm just still not real happy with our defensive effort, but we're going to get there, and that's going to be a big point of emphasis this week as we head to get ready for Southridge.
Well, yeah, and PAC-wise, South Spencer is at 5-0, Louisville 4-1, you guys 4-1, Washington 3-1, Pike Central 3-4-2. What are some of the key games in the Pocket Athletic Conference we need to be looking at over the next couple of weeks?
Well, I think for us, every one of them are important, Joe, and it starts at Southridge on Friday night, and with as many good teams as there are in this, every night in and out is going to be a battle, and it's tough, and I don't anticipate. It's hard to go all the way through this conference with as many teams that are in there now since they've expanded to be able to go through this thing and go undefeated. We won it in 2021 when Blake Sisley was a senior, Jake Johnson, Adam Guth, those guys, and we end up losing one game as well. It's just hard. It's just hard to go all the way through this. So, yeah, we lost in a heartbreaking fashion to a really good team in Pike Central. But Pike Central had lost 2 games in the conference before that. Like as you said, all the other teams that lost, I think South Spencer's the only one that hasn't lost a game. But South Spencer's got some really tough ones up next weekend. They've got I think Pike and us in the same weekend. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this unfolds. But I think our main goal for us is that it's a conference game. You got to go win them, and we still kind of hold our own destiny here as we continue to go through this thing. But of course, we've got to win the rest of our conference games to make sure that we've got a chance to win this conference, and I think we do.
And you're listening to the Nate Hawkins Show on Southwest Indiana Sports Network, powered by Million Buster Communications. We'll be back right after these messages from our sponsors.
You dream it, we create it at Street Dreams. Custom paint, fabrication, stereos, wheels, tires, and more. We're also your authorized Sinister Sound dealer. Street Dreams, 317-624-1000, where you expect quality and...
At MAD, we believe in zero. 0 fathers who aren't there for bedtime. 0 mothers who miss the first day of school. 0 children who never come home. We believe in 0 victims of drunk driving. With MAD, your support adds up to 0. Because we believe in a hug on the first day of school. We believe in another bedtime story. We believe in no more victims. We believe in 0.
Wanting to scan those old videos, films, or audio to DVD? We'll look no further than Milligan Communications. We can also scan your old pictures, slides, and negatives to picture quality as well. With thousands of happy customers, let Milligan Communications help put your treasured memories on a digital media. Call Milligan Communications today at 812-630-2449. Milligan Communications, capturing your yesterdays.
Hey everyone, Joey Chestnut here, world champion competitive eater. I follow Southwest Indiana Sports Network, and if you're hungry for sports, you should follow them too.
Follow the Southwest Indiana Sports Network at swisportsnetwork.com or search Roku for our channel at SW Indiana Sports Network.
And welcome back to the Nate Hawkins Show. And we're joined by 8th grade coach of the Heritage Hills Patriots, Stephen Craig. Stephen, how you doing today?
Good, Joe. How about yourself?
Doing good. You're the 8th grade coach. Why don't you give us a little bit about your background and what it took before you became the 8th grade coach?
So this is my third year with the Patriots under the 8th grade spot. I previously, before that, I had some. We go back a few years. I done some coaching for one of those green teams in a different county. I had some experience with coaching some freshman basketball probably about 10 years ago, and then joined Coach Hawkins' program 5 years ago. Actually started out as the 5th grade coach over at one of the middle school elementary programs where we had 2 teams. So there was me and another guy doing that, and then went up to 6th grade after that. And then Dylan Gregory took a different job, and the 8th grade spot opened up, and Coach and I sat down, and he thought it'd be a good opportunity for me. I have 3 young kids myself, so I didn't think it was as good of opportunity as he did, but we managed to make schedules work, and this is my 3rd year doing it, and I couldn't be more happy where we're at with how Coach Hawkins supports us from, not only a varsity coach, but his whole staff. And I mean, it's nothing for a home game for us to have, 10 coaches in the stands and people supporting each other, just, all the way down to the junior Patriot level in 3rd and 4th grade. So very, very happy with the decision to be a part of this program and the opportunity, really. I mean, Nate's got a pretty tough list of coaches from top to bottom, so he don't let just anybody join the program. So it's more of a opportunity than it is just being able to come join whenever you want. So
yeah, we started down with the 5th grade coaches. Now we're up to 8th grade, and one thing I've been very impressed with the whole staff that he's got. Yeah,
it's a good mix. I mean, he's touched a lot of people. I mean, including myself. Like, I've known Nate since I went to Perry Central, and he coached some summer ball. He was our coach one year, and then I always remember him at Forest Park, and just built that relationship. We actually stumbled across each other in a church one Sunday, and I told him I was moving to Santa Claus, and it was like we haven't missed a day. He linked us back up and knew that I wanted to be in coaching. He didn't really even give me an option. He said that you're going to coach. That's what you're meant to do. And just the way that I met him is different than some of the other coaches. And the thing that I love the most is when you start seeing people like Grant Lashley and Caden Kratzer, some people that played for him. And actually up even on the varsity staff, Nathan Allen was a player of his over at Forest Park. I mean, and then you have Drew Messmer, who was there last year. When you get people coming back to your program and wanting to coach, that means you're doing something right. And you got to mix with Coach Mattingly, and then some Patriots that have graduated several years ago and just hung around with Fisher and Winchell. Those guys just want to win and pour into the program, and Nate gives them a good avenue for that. So,
now, how's the season gone this year for the Heritage Hills Patriots, 8th grade?
We are currently at 13-4. I tend to believe that we should be at 15-2, but I'll take a couple of those on my chin as far as just not having the team ready in a way that we gave up some potential wins. One of them was early on, first game of the year to Washington, and then we played in a tournament down in Boise that we played some really quality programs. We went 2-1 down there. We beat Harrison. Evansville North got us on the second game, and then we turned back around and beat Owensboro on the last second shot. So we really competed down there. I was happy with that. And then 2 other losses came to Hobstott and Boonville, which 2 years ago when I was in the 8th grade, I had obviously the sophomores that we have now, and then the freshmen last year. I think 4 games is the total that we lost amongst both of those seasons. But one thing I will say is the 8th grade group in southern Indiana, southwest Indiana here is much better than it has been the past 2 years. not to take away from our kids on freshman and sophomore, but there is a really good stretch of talent coming up here locally that, you know, will make for some pretty interesting varsity games in the future, I believe.
And, you know, some of these people that you know, go to varsity games, they want to watch what's coming up. And what are some of your upcoming games?
So we have we got our PAC tournament. We actually play Southridge tonight over at Southridge. That's going to be a quality game. Those kids play hard. Got a Montgomery kid and a Gasser kid that you know, they remind me a lot of what their brother's done, you know, a couple years ago. Them two just they play well together. They're always looking for each other and really compete. And then we play Forest Park, and Forest Park's a team that we've only beat once across the past, you know, 3 or 4 years, and playing in travel ball and all that stuff. So they're a really good squad that we're going to have to come ready to go. And then we step right into the PAC tournament, and all of these teams that have beat it, you know, Boonville, Hobstadt, Washington, you know, all those teams that we've got losses against are in our PAC. So it's going to be an interesting tournament. I think we've gotten better. We've gotten healthier. We've had several kids out through the course of the year just with injuries and illness. So I'm excited to make a stab at this PAC tournament now that we got everybody back, and we've played pretty well the last couple of games to set ourselves up for that.
And who are some of the players that you have that we're going to hear about in the future on the varsity level?
Really, really interesting group. Not very many familiar names, or I guess unfamiliar names. Got some coaches' kids. Got a mix of some alumni kids. So Aiden Fisher, he's been playing really well lately. He's actually stepped up and been scoring and shooting the ball really well for us. Tice Winchell just got back he just started playing in January, coming off of a football injury. Gunnar Libahusen, which is Adam's boy. He's kind of a all-around player for us that really can change the way a game's going in a positive manner if he locks in and really, you know, gets engaged in what's going on. Jackson Ziegler handles the ball for us. Jackson's kind of a streaky guy as well. You know, he's a guy that his emotion don't change much on the floor. So when games get tight, you know, sometimes he steps up and hits a big shot just because he's naturally got ice water in his veins. But and then our two forwards that we've been playing a lot inside is Micah Toller and Tate Wetzel. Again, Tate Wetzel's Josh's boy from the JV coach, and Tate's really been finding his stride here the last, you know, really I think since after Christmas break. You know, he looked at one of the coaches or one of the kids after our Hobstadt loss, and we had Christmas break after that, and he goes, we got to get better over Christmas break. We can't come back and lose like this again. And he's really took that to heart. Micah Toller, who is probably our all-around floor general. We go as Micah goes. He can get up and down the floor. He can really, you know, knock down shots from time to time, and just brings a lot of energy to the floor. And then we got, you know, I play about 9 in our A games. Trey Tyree, Carter Kress, and Cole Sussanera come off the bench as well, and those guys do a great job of just not only bringing energy when they're on the floor, but I mean they're hard to half the time. If we get on a run, I got to keep them off the floor celebrating just as much as the kids on the floor are excited. So they do a really good job of supporting whether they're in the game or not, and you know they're patient. They come in, they do what's asked of them, and just a really good group. I can see all 9 of those kids, you know, moving up through the freshman, JV, varsity. And just they love the game, and they're all competitors. So it's really a fun group. They're a little goofy, but who isn't as an 8th grader?
How does it feel to sit in the stands on a Friday or Saturday night and see some of those players that you coached in the past?
You know, I didn't really know what it would be like until this year. After seeing, you know, the sophomore class I had those kids and just a really good group of kids, and then seeing a couple of the freshmen that play this year, you know, it's really it's different. I didn't know what to expect because I'd never really had that experience, but I think just making some eye contact with them and having another, Coach Hawkins and his whole staff has them pretty much engaged. But there's times where, as a young player on the floor, it's helpful to see a familiar face that isn't going to be yelling at you directly for your performance, but just I've made eye contact with Hunter Meredith a couple of times, and it's like, just keep your head, you're good. Don't get worked up. And Peyton Gray and those kids that really come in, and this is a big change for them, and they. Having that support all around them, I think, is beneficial. It's really been exciting for me. My wife's the cheerleading coach, and she gets mad at me a lot of the times because I'm supposed to be watching the kids, and I'm watching the kids playing basketball, not our kids. So it always makes for an interesting evening, but I love it. Man, these guys they're playing hard, they're getting better, and it's going to be exciting to see how we wrap up this season and just really compete down the stretch.
Well, Coach, good luck the rest of the season and go win a PAZ title.
All right, thanks, Joe.
And you've been listening to the Nate Hawkins Show on Southwest Indiana Sports Network, powered by Milligan Bros for Communications. We're back right after these messages from our sponsors.
This is your IHSAA. This is your state. This is your high school. This is your athletic association.
Fans, I'm IHSA Commissioner Paul Knighty, and we're here to make sure that all of this remains yours.
This is your state. This is your community. This is your IHSAA.
Wanting to scan those old videos, films, or audio to DVD? We'll look no further than Milligan Communications. We can also scan your old pictures, slides, and negatives to picture quality as well. With thousands of happy customers, let Milligan Communications help put your treasured memories on a digital media. Call Milligan Communications today at 812-630-2449. Milligan Communications, capturing your yesterdays.
At MAD, we believe in zero. Zero fathers who aren't there for bedtime. Zero mothers who miss the first day of school. Zero children who never come home. We believe in zero victims of drunk driving. With MAD, your support adds up to zero. Because we believe in a hug on the first day of school. We believe in another bedtime story. We believe in no more victims. We believe in zero.
Hey everyone, Joey Chestnut here, world champion competitive eater. I follow Southwest Indiana Sports Network, and if you're hungry for sports, you should follow them too.
Follow the Southwest Indiana Sports Network at swisportsnetwork.com or search Roku for our channel at SW Indiana Sports Network.
And welcome back to the Nate Hawkins Show. And Coach, I'll tell you what, I talked to Jeff Lewin earlier, and I told him to be successful, you need to surround yourself with successful people. And I think that you and him have both done that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is what it's all about. And putting, you want to put great coaches in the positions that they can be to really push and help make our kids successful. And I think that's what we've been able to do. As you've got to be able to talk to all of our coaches here all the way through the grades. But yeah, Stephen, our 8th grade coach, he does a great job with our kids. And his ultimate goal is to have them prepared and ready for high school basketball. And I think that he's done that as we've seen over the last couple of years, some of our kids being able to come in and be ready. But obviously as the head coach, you want to surround yourself with great assistant coaches, great middle school, elementary coaches, and try to give them any type of resource that you can to hopefully make them to help them to be successful as well. And I think all of our coaches are very bought into the program, understand what we are wanting to get out of our program, the culture that we expect, but just the standards. I think is another word that I like to use. The standards that we use and what is expected out of our kids, because all of our coaches all the way down the line hold our kids accountable, and that's what it takes to be really successful in not only basketball but in the game of life.
And, I'll get on my soapbox here for just a minute before we preview this weekend's games. You're finally ranked, and I'll tell the pollsters, get rid of your Southern Indiana bias. We play basketball down here, and you guys should have been ranked weeks ago, and you're finally ranked, and I want to congratulate you guys and your team for that.
Well, I appreciate that, and that's for something that Joe, that I really, and our team doesn't really get too involved into. It's something for a lot of the other guys to look at and think, and it's a nice thing. There's no doubt, but obviously we've got bigger goals that we're trying to attain, and we'd like to be at the end of the year ranked number one and cutting down the nets. So that's obviously our goal, but we don't really put a whole lot of stock into that right now.
Well, the pollsters need to realize, I think Bar-Eve, Lagodi, North Davies, and you guys actually, the COVID year where they canceled the tournament, I think you guys will want to state championship too. We play basketball down here.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's definitely right, and we're really, really happy with being able to be recognized, of course, and but we also know that we've got more work to do, and as you get back to that 2020 season, it's like one that we can't ever forget. But I would have loved to seen how those kids could have finished it out.
And this weekend, you've got Southridge away at Memorial Gym, historic Memorial Gym, on Friday night, and you play Castle at home on Saturday. Why don't you preview all those games for us?
Well, I tell you, Joe, again, another tough weekend for the Patriots. I mean, there's no question we have to be locked in on both ends of the floor, and I think more so than anything, we have to be locked in on the defensive end of the floor. I think last weekend, I just don't think we were as locked in and connected as we needed to be on the defensive end in order to win against some really good teams, and that's going to be a big point of emphasis for us as we're going through this week. But you go over to Huntingburg Memorial and play. Great place to play basketball. I mean, what a facility. It's just nice being there. And then that's actually where our sectional is going to be at this year, since we moved from 32 to 31. But should be a lot of fun. Southridge playing well. Their guards are really good. Can shoot the basketball. We've got to be able to identify shooters, and we're gonna have to find them in transition as well. But they seem to play really well together. They've had some really nice wins. Probably had some games that maybe they didn't win that they probably wish they would have had back, and that they thought they could have won. So they're right there. I mean, it's going to be an absolute battle for us. And I mean, obviously we're hoping that we can go in there and play well on the road. And the biggest thing is when you're on the road, you've got to be able to play. You've got to play defense. And if we play defense, I think we give ourselves a shot. If we don't play defense and we're a little slow to the basketball, Southridge is going to make us pay. So it's going to be that's a big emphasis, but it all starts on the defensive end. And then Saturday night, Castle. Castle's just big, long. I mean, we're not really seeing any team like that all year. I mean, they've got size at every position. Their guards are tough, hard-nosed kids. Biggest thing for us, I think, is going to be our guard play. Our guards have to play really well. They like the 1-2-2 half-court trap. We're going to have to be able to handle that. That's where they've had a lot of success against the teams that haven't been able to handle that. And we're just going to have to be able to limit our turnovers. We're going to have to value the basketball, take care of it, and get the ball where it needs to go. And if we do those things, I think we obviously have an opportunity to have a very successful weekend this weekend. But if we don't do those things, then I think we could be in for a really tough weekend. So it's all going to come down to execution, as I say. I mean, this time of year, it's all about execution on both ends of the floor, night in and night out. and just got to keep grinding and keep getting better. And like I said, I think our kids will be ready. I think they'll be excited about this opportunity that we've got both games this weekend, and I think we'll come out and we'll play well.
And, you said you switched sectionals, and who are some of the top teams in the sectional right now, do you think?
Well, I think our sectional is pretty balanced. If you look at it, it's a 7-teamer. North Davies is in there, of course. I mean, North Davies has been playing well all year. I mean, they play 6 seniors who won a state championship last year. So they're confident. They know how to win. Their guards are really good. I think obviously there's somebody that everybody's been talking about. So I mean, I think everybody knows about them a little bit. I mean, you got Pike Central, Princeton, Washington. I mean, Southridge is in there. I mean, it's very balanced. I think it's one of those. It's going to be one of those sectionals that I think the draw is going to be really important, and just depending on where everything falls. Vincennes is in there. Vincennes, I know they've only won 2 games, but look at their schedule and look who they played. I mean, they beat a really good Jasper team. I mean, so they're capable. I mean, they're just. I think every team that is that's in that tournament is very capable. So it should be a really good sectional 31. And we really like kind of where we're at in the mix of all that. And I mean, that's our goal. I mean, our goal is to go win that sectional 31. So we're going to keep driving towards our goals, Joe.
Well, Coach, good luck this week on a very tough weekend.
Hey, I appreciate that, and look forward to jumping back on with you again here next week. And we'll talk soon.
And you've been listening to the Nate Hawkins Show on Southwest Indiana Sports Network, powered by Northern Bros for Communications. We'll talk to you next week.
Becoming a licensed sports official is a great way to make a positive difference in the community and support the over 160,000 Indiana student athletes that participate across 22 IHSAA sports. Sports officiating allows you to stay connected to the game, become a role model for our young student athletes, earn extra money, and support the patrons and communities of our IHSAA member schools. To learn more about becoming a licensed IHSAA official, log on to ihsaa.org/officials today.